As an entrepreneur, any business lessons from that aspect?
It's a lot of business lessons. Passion and hard work, which is universal currency. Like I always say, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be unfair, it's gonna be uncomfortable. So why would anybody want to do this to themselves unless you're gonna have the passion? Resilience. Like I always say to my executives, goals are not negotiable,
Hmm.
but how to get there, we can negotiate and discuss this. We need to get there. We have to find ways. So resilience is very important. Be purposeful and intentional in anything that you do. Life is too short, even if you're young. Resources, no matter how much resources, whether it's money, time, or whatever, are still limited. I learned even bigger companies who have unlimited resources, still limited. So your resources are limited. Use them wisely.
Many people are turning to holistic or spiritual practices to manage their chronic pain in some way or the other, whether it's related to spine or not. But generally, chronic pain related to healing and spirituality and things like that. So, what's your perspective on integrating mindfulness into our daily routine so that pain management gets taken care of?
The mindset itself
Hmm.
is an amazing untapped powers, right? So if you'll be able to unlock these powers, whether it's spirituality or religiously or culturally,
Mm-hmm.
and control the pain or control the powers of the brain to help unlock regenerative powers and growth powers, I think that could be the key for the future trends in chronic pain. It's very important to help our mindset grow in this way, whether spiritually, whether holistically. I think this is the direction. And we can all see this from the recent administration here in the States. They're pushing against pharmaceutical, and they're pushing towards healthy lifestyle, organic living, sun exercise, being outdoors. So I truly believe that we will see quite a bit of progress in the next few years.
If you're wondering what is chronic pain versus what is temporary pain, how do you know when it is time to seek professional help? Are these the questions that you have been pondering upon? Does your back pain very chronic and you want somebody to really help you out with a quick surgery? Well, today's episode is for you because we have with us Dr. Hany Demian. He's a pioneering force in the world of spine care, and he also has a business degree from Harvard. So, Dr. Demian has mastered the art of combining healthcare with entrepreneurial brilliance. And as the CEO of the BioSpine Institute in Florida and the co founder of Pain Care Clinics in Canada, he is leading cutting edge advancements in minimally invasive spine surgery, providing patients with life changing treatments and faster recoveries. How is all that possible? We are going to cover that in today's episode. I'm Neeti Keswani, your host for Luxury Unplugged podcast. This podcast is where luxury meets spirituality. And today we are exploring how holistic wellness, cutting edge treatments, and mindful living can transform the way we heal from pain and enhance productivity. So, we'll dive down into the expertise on chronic pain, innovative spine care solutions, and evolving landscape of healthcare. Welcome, Dr. Hany.
Thanks a lot, Eddie, and thanks for that kind introduction, and thanks for having me.
Lovely to have you. We have got so many questions for you because this is such a hot topic. Loads of people, younger people, are facing this problem of, the spine, back pain, and things like that. So tell us, I mean, from your perspective, what really causes back pain these days more frequently than not?
Usually it's physical activity, injuries, car accident, neglecting your back health, or living unhealthy lifestyle. That usually what we see common with the patients. Car accidents is the major cause, and as we can see, and research showed that 70% of ER visits are usually back pain, and 25% of those turn into chronic pain. So a lot of people are just neglecting and ignoring their back health.
Right. And so there are people who face the back pain on and off, like temporary pain, and there are people who are having it chronic back pain. So is the sleep position somewhat related to it, which causes after a heavy workout or something?
Absolutely. Sleep is very important, whether the mattress you live on and when we were younger, I used to sleep on the floor, on the couch. We used to go camping and sleep in a very tough condition. That definitely helped. Even not only the mattress, the pillow can affect your neck pain. Weather conditions, sports, job and lifestyle, whether it's a sedentary lifestyle, sitting on an office all day or standing on your feet all day, everything affects the back. It's actually the engine of your spinal cord is the back muscles. And if you don't look after this engine, longevity will be affected.
Right, right. So how can people really prevent it even before it, the surgery situation gets in the way and, you are suggested that you should go for a surgery? And the next question would be like, surgery, can it really help in the long-term basis?
I learned from a course called defensive driving. I used to drive fast, and defensive driving is exactly what I describe to my patients. You go out and hoping you're not going to have an accident. So you have to be really diligent with your driving, looking 3 ways or 4 ways, looking in your mirrors, looking in your rear view mirror. It's exactly the same. You have to be really defensive with your back. If there is a heavy weight, don't lift it. If there is something that you don't feel comfortable or you feel pain on and off, go check it out. Drink a lot of water, because 80% of the discs in your back are formed from water. Exercise. If you're carrying excess weight, get rid of it. Smoking, drinking, all those bad habits all account for this. And we've all done this in our young age. And I'm telling you, we will pay the price in our older age, whether it's a heavy lifting, it's a kind of sports that we're doing. So be diligent and defensive with your back. Don't take it for granted. That's very important. So
basically what you're suggesting is that if you have been in a sedentary lifestyle for a really long time, suddenly don't start lifting heavy weights and think that everything will go well.
Yes. Yeah. Exercising, in my opinion, is the best defensive mechanism for protecting your back. The exercising your back, your core muscles, those are really important. It will help you even carrying a grocery bag in your old age. It will help you carrying or enjoying your life with your young kids or grandkids, going for walks. So exercising, building as much muscle mass is quite related now to longevity and anti-aging. So exercise is number one, healthy lifestyle. Going for surgery, in my opinion, should be your last option. I know we do a lot of surgeries, but I wouldn't advise any of my patients to go for surgery, whether it's minimally or micro-invasive, without exhausting all kinds of procedures, all kinds of treatments available for them, whether it's exercise, chiropractor, physiotherapy. Don't go under the knife until you really tried hard to figure out without going under.
Right. But in that case, tell us, doctor, what is that borderline when we know that it has gone from the temporary back pain to a really bad chronic pain? And when should I really consult somebody seriously?
I think once you have or feel back pain and you tried physio, chiropractor, which is readily available, you tried over-the-counter medication, whether it's Tylenol or Advil, and didn't work, with a few weeks you should go to your physician, general practitioner or whatnot, and ask them about what's the cause. If this pain extends beyond 6 months, I think you should really start looking into getting MRIs, imaging, and looking for the cause, and then going first for a treatment, consulting with your physician or a family physician or a pain specialist, and see what could be done. It could be a small, annoying problem that turn into a bigger problem if it get ignored, and this is unfortunately what we see. Most patients or chronic pain patients have pain for years, and I keep asking why you waited that long, because we tend not to know what's available for treatments or ignore it and say, yeah, it's manageable or livable. But it turns out that if you keep it that long, it will turn out to a really bigger problem that you will need surgery after a while.
Right. So, doctor, I know that you're very passionate about the topic of non-invasive surgery, which requires minimalistic effort in terms of, quick recovery. Is that something which is true? Something like that people can really walk out in 20 minutes?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? I am a chronic pain patient myself, and I
Okay.
have a very fast and busy lifestyle. So I always on search for what's new, what's the state of the art. So for me to take time off my schedule to go for surgery or recovery for several months is just very hard. So I start looking into this, and this is when I landed onto regenerative medicine, which unlocking the body powers to recover and unlocking the growth factors that actually can heal the condition and the disease, and instead of just chasing symptoms or putting a band-aid, because after a while it affects you mentally as well. And then at the end, minimally invasive or micro-invasive. And micro-invasive is quite fascinating. We are the first to actually apply it here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We are the first to adapt the micro-invasives through endoscopic surgery. It's 15-minute surgery, 5 millimeter incision. We don't cut any muscles or bones. We just separate the tissues to get to the location that we need to operate on, and we do what we need to do. And the patient is out in 15 minutes walking. It's very minimal pain, very minimal side effects or complication, and within a few days they can go back to work. I personally call it the weekend back surgery or the weekend procedure, because you can have it on Friday, Monday you could be back to your office,
Wow.
which is fascinating. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't want that?
Absolutely. But what are the side effects of that? Because if it's that fast, how come medicine has taken so long? Like, because usually the surgeries till now used to be, it used to take a couple of days, at least weeks, if not a weekend. So
Yeah,
how do
yeah,
we go about?
traditional surgery, to go back and let the audience know, it's usually 3 to 4 hours, where we cut 5 to 6 inches incision in the back. We cut through the muscles, the bones, and we get to the area that we need to operate, and the patient will take 3 to 4 months stuck in the house just recovering,
Right.
wearing a belt and limiting their activities. So the difference between this and the microinvasive is we can only do one or two surgery at that location. So if you have few discs out of place, I can only operate in one in each surgery. While the traditional surgery, you can remove them all at the same setting. So that's one of the complications,
I
right?
see.
So, of course, through a 5 millimeter incision, I can't do much. I can do what I can, right? But I wouldn't be able to do all the pathology in the back. So that's number one. Number two, it needs a lot of capital and equipment, which definitely will reflect on the price to the patient as well. Just unfortunate. We're hoping that the prices will go down of the equipment and all this. The training and the learning curve is quite steep. So you really need to know or have a good surgeon who can do this surgery and train to do it, and they've done it over and over again. So you cannot really go from traditional to microinvasive. You have to spend time doing minimally invasive and then go through the learning curve for microinvasive. So those are some of the complications that we were able to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
But we explain all this to the patient, and we leave them to choose between the traditional or the microinvasive.
Right, right. So basically, it is the traditional is more cost efficient, but and it will be like done in, 4 or 5 things are going to be handled at one point, but it's a
Yeah.
longer recovery time.
Yeah,
And in the non-invasive surgery, basically it's handling one situation at a time,
that's it.
and you can get back to work much more faster.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, we're working hard to master this. We're hoping to add one or two indications to the microinvasive. You're in the space in the spine anyway, so we can do as much as we can. But definitely there is limitation to what it could do.
Right. So, I mean, what sort of, I understand that the recovery is pretty fast, but what sort of lifestyle tips do you have for back getting back to healthy being, or a healthy robust, having a healthy robust body, and going about my stuff in a normal way, what could be those lifestyle habits that we could incorporate?
Uh, as I said, do not take your back for granted. I personally don't do any heavy lifting whatsoever. I go to the gym, I modified my workout, so I I don't injure my back. Exercise, exercise, exercise. Drinking water as much as you can definitely help. It will feed all this collagen that the disc in the back are formed of. Lifestyle above and beyond any precaution that you can actually think of, because if I sit a long time, I hurt my back. If I exercise too much or aggressive, I've seen people at the gym lifting 300 pounds deadlift. We're not made for that, Hany. We're not made to lift 300 pounds on a deadlift. So those are the things that I would advise the patient. And do not ignore your back pain, whether it's once or twice. Comes and goes. I tell the patient those are your warning signs. Next time it's gonna come and it's not gonna go. And I keep telling my patient that, and of course they don't listen, and they come back and say, "Oh, I just lifted or I just sneezed, and the disc went out and it wouldn't come back." I said, "Yes, we should have done something for it." So that's mainly my advice, and I tell it even to my kids. I have young kids, and we start jumping and doing crazy things here at home between couches or whatever. I said, one day you're gonna pay for that. Don't jump. Right? I know, even kids, but I've seen it. I've seen as young as 10 years old herniated discs in their back. Right? So yeah, so it could happen to anyone. So we really have to be very diligent about the health of our back.
Right. So that gets me to the question that, younger generations, including athletes, now they are also looking for, quick fixes for pain because they have to get back to their tracks and everything. So how has this trend shaped the healthcare industry, so to say?
I was asked this question, and honestly, they are the most challenging patient that I have. When I have a younger patient or an athlete, they're very difficult than older, because they are smart, they're very knowledgeable, they've done their homework, they researched everything before coming to me, and they basically in the first few minutes they just testing me, which is very funny. I need to stay on my toes all the time, right? I keep learning more to be able to serve this kind of patient. They need fast, but not only fast, they need definitive treatment. I cannot tell at 20 years old you're going to take this pill for the rest of your life. They're not going to listen to me, and I will never see them again. I can tell them that you're going to have an injection in your back every 3 months for the rest of your life. It doesn't work. They look at me as if I have two heads, right? So the way to go by this is just you really have to be on top of your game. This is the treatment that will provide you with the best results to fix your problem. They need a fix. And I think it's a fair question. A lot of patients older, they would like to manage their pain, live with it. They don't want to go into really aggressive treatment, and they know that they have whatever, 10 years, 15 years, whatever they left, and they don't want to be trying a new treatment at this age or something experimental. The younger are willing to take the risk, are willing to try something new. So we have to be providing all the new. We have to actually weed through that treatments, because a lot of treatments are experimental or whatnot. So we have to be credible, and we have to look into this seriously, that those younger generation need to fix. They're not going to live the next 60 years of their life taking pills or injection. So that's why we're bringing the state of the art all the time. We're doing our research all the time, and we're trying as much as we can to be credible, honest with them, and give them the best possible outcomes.
So that gets me to the question that, when people are considering surgery, what advice should they be listening to, or what advice should they be, finding out about selecting the right surgeon for the procedure? Like, how to really go about it? Because reviews and everything is fine, but still there has to be some sort of criteria, right?
Absolutely. And I personally during my studies at Harvard, there was a quite neat research saying that 25% of treatments in the US or patients are overtreated. What that mean? That means that they had surgeries or tests or whatever treatment that they did not need, which is quite scary if you see that one of every cases, they didn't need that surgery. So patients should do their research, should ask questions. Reviews are good. I could be the best surgeon doing this surgery, but you actually need this surgery? Does this surgery will fit your lifestyle? So being open with the surgeon, tell them this is what I want. Ask all the questions that you need, because even if you and me have the same pathology in our back, your lifestyle is different than mine. And I might accept less mobility, but you need to be highly mobile, right? So I cannot have a surgery for 20 years old that they cannot bend over and tie their shoes. But an older patient, they might accept this as much as, okay, the pain is gone, I can't tie my shoes, it's not a big deal, I get a slip-on, you know? So this is very important for a patient to understand the surgery, understand side effects, complication, limitation, and ask. Surgeons could be great surgeons, and there are a lot of great surgeons, but you need to know what you want. And I believe there's a rise in patient awareness and patient advocating for themselves. I'm all for advocating for the patient.
That's so refreshing to hear from an esteemed surgeon himself, because that is not the experience that we have in India, or perhaps what stories I'm hearing even in US now. So yeah, I mean, it's very refreshing to have that kind of an attitude and openness and receptiveness to the patients and where they're coming from, because usually people are very scared to go for a surgery, and it requires a lot of courage, a lot of due diligence, a lot of money. So keeping all those factors in, I mean, it really helps to have that kind of receptive environment. So that's really nice.
Hany, if I give you a sandwich today, wouldn't you ask me what's in the sandwich? What is it made of? And if it fits your diet or not?
Yes.
It's pretty simple. So what's the difference between this and the surgery? If I'm going to ask you to have a surgery, you should ask me questions about it.
Right, absolutely. So in terms of your career and the challenging situations, what have been the most rewarding moments in your journey?
Two rewarding moments that I actually remember. Number one, some of my patients initially in my career had an amazing results. And one of them was a patient that turned into a friend, and we couldn't help him as much as we can in Canada. So he was an inventor, really smart guy, and started deteriorating, couldn't use his arms, couldn't use his legs, and I was quite sad. And he decided to look beyond the Canadian healthcare system into the US. He looked for the surgery, he did the laser spine surgery at the time, and he walked in my office a week after. I was quite emotional, to say the least. I said, I need more of this. It's very satisfying, it's very fulfilling, and this should be the highest of my career. So this is what helped me actually shape the vision of the companies, and it was quite amazing. We see this now on a daily basis. Patients recover, they go by, get their surgeries or get the procedure, and they go back to their lives, right? So it's quite amazing. And the second moment is when I was so scared to buy my partner, and it took me a while. Then I decided to do it, and I bought him. And this helped me invest in the company, go all in, and we grow beyond the Canadian market to the US market. And now we're gearing to expand beyond Florida into other states, and hopefully we'll go to the Middle East next year.
Lovely, beautiful. So it's basically about the second story is about your risk taking capacity, I guess.
It is.
As an entrepreneur, any business lessons from that aspect?
It's a lot of business lessons. The first one that I always stress on is hope is not a plan. Right? I learned this the first day in Harvard, and it stuck with me now for years. I always hoped to do stuff, but I never had a plan. So I got a plan now. It's very important to plan where you're going. Number two, begin with the end clear in mind. What do you want to do? Is it financial goals? Is it career goals? And take the risk, and that will guide you on your daily activities, weekly activities, and you're gonna end up going all in at some times because you have a clear vision that really worth taking the risk for it.
True. In terms of chronic pain that affects millions, it's often now disrupting the lives, and we are all aware of that. But in the current industry, we are sort of moving the healthcare towards luxury wellness. So what do you have to say about that?
Me and my wife always joke. I started a joke a year ago. I said, why can't we go minimalist? And I said, you can't go minimalist. You like a lot of things and you like luxury. But my intention wasn't that. My intention is, why don't we just buy what we see valuable? So luxury is, in my opinion, is value. You're having value. You're trading something, which is money, for value. Whether this value is a status, connection with people with status, or actually you're buying something good that you will extract value from it, right? I had an old wallet, probably like for 10 years, and my wife said, you should be embarrassed as a CEO to do so. She went and bought me a better luxury one, right? And it's been with me now for 5-6 years, but the quality is different. So I say about luxury is the quality, the value that you're extracting from this, whether you're trading money for time, like the weekend procedure, while you're trading care. So you have a better care, you have a more advanced procedures. We all see now a lot of celebrities and wealthy people go to Mexico to have different procedures, go to Colombia, Panama, Dubai, go to Turkey to have a hair transplant. All this is luxury, but the fact, Neri, is we are in luxury. Like back home, where I come from in Egypt, having healthcare is a luxury itself. To be able to see a doctor within a certain period of time is luxury. To be able to afford treatment is luxury. Even vaccines are luxury in Egypt. So we are living in a luxury world, and it's not good all the time. There is a recent research showed that the poorest outcome for healthcare is the unprivileged people and the wealthy people, because the wealthy people need the luxury and they push for services they might not need. They might push for stem cells or regenerative medicine, but do you actually need it? Right? So I think luxury is about value and where you can position this in your health journey.
Right. It's also about perspective.
It is.
It is a lot about perspective, because how I might view certain things may not be right for you.
Yeah.
That would drive my decisions, but not yours.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, we have touched the luxury aspect of our podcast in that way, but there is another question on spirituality. Now, many people are turning to holistic or spiritual practices to manage their chronic pain in some way or the other, whether it's related to spine or not, but generally chronic pain related to healing and spirituality and things like that. So what's your perspective on integrating mindfulness into our daily routines so that pain management gets taken care of?
I absolutely agree.
You do?
With this statement. I'm all for Western medicine. I practice it, I live it, right? But the mindset itself is an amazing untapped powers, right? So if you'll be able to unlock these powers, whether spirituality or religiously or culturally, and control the pain or control the powers of the brain to help unlock regenerative powers and growth powers. I think that could be the key for the future trends in chronic pain. It's very important to help our mindset grow in this way, whether spiritually, whether holistically. I think this is the direction. And we can all see this from the recent administration here in the States. They're pushing against pharmaceutical, and they're pushing towards healthy lifestyle, organic living, sun exercise, being outdoors. So I truly believe that will be, and we will see quite a bit of progress in the next few years.
Right. And that can definitely help a major part of the population to keep themselves away from very intensive surgeries. But having said that, there are going to be still situations. There's still going to be surgeries, always. Yes, the technology can really help us, and that way it could be defined as a luxury per se lifestyle. But it's up to us in terms of perspective whether we would want that or not.
Yeah.
So, in terms of your lifestyle, how do you manage your work-life balance? Because you are running a large organization, and what's your take on work-life balance?
Work-life balance, I gave up this nearly a long time ago. I replaced the 9 to 5 hope and less grinding a long time ago with the 5 to 9. So I wake up early and I work long hours. But I learned a while back the 80-20 principle, right? I think it's called the Pareto principle. And that means that 20% of your efforts will yield 80% of your results. And it worked so well for me. I've seen an interview for Warren Buffett, and he looked in his notebook for his scheduled meetings, and he only has 3 decisions to make a week, which is not much for somebody that busy. Like, you think his schedule will be quite big. So do what you love and do a lot of it. Anything else you can delegate. And this is where the real value, and this is what I call resource allocation. During business school in Harvard, we learn about resource allocation, but they teach you as well how you do this in life and how you actually measure your life, because resources could be allocated in anything. Your time with your family, your friends, your parents, right? And it's very limited. No matter how much time we have, it's still limited. So you have to allocate this, and you have to measure your life consistently. Am I satisfied in my life? And there is a huge difference that I learned between success and fulfillment. We all can succeed, we all can grow, have great businesses, successful, but are you fulfilled or not? And I met a lot of CEOs that are not fulfilled, very successful, but they're not fulfilled during Harvard because what they're doing is not aligned with what they want or their values or their family time.
Right.
So I carve a lot of time for my family. I have 2 young kids. I like to exercise a lot because I tell my staff, you don't want to deal with me if I don't exercise.
Right.
I'm really miserable. So you have to exercise all the time. It's actually quite refreshing and give you a perspective. And I think meditation is great as well. So you have to apply this 80-20 to anything you do. And you need to have a work-life integration.
Right.
This is why I replaced it long time ago.
So I guess you have managed to carve out your own work-life balance in your own way. I mean, it need not be 9 to 5, but you've had your own way of probably doing that during a week's time, not a day's time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. So any advice for the aspirational entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs? From moving from, like, not only being a surgeon, but actually, running an organization in at least 2 locations and still expanding. So what do you think should people, aspire in this journey of entrepreneurship?
Passion.
Passion?
Passion.
Mhm.
Yeah. Passion and hard work, which is universal currency. Like I always say, it's going to be hard. It's going to be unfair. It's going to be uncomfortable. So why would anybody want to do this to themselves unless you're going to have the passion? Resilience. Like I always say to my executives, goals are not negotiable, but how to get there, we can negotiate and discuss this. We need to get there. We have to find ways. So resilience is very important. Be purposeful and intentional in anything that you do. Life is too short, even if you're young. Resources, no matter how much resources, whether it's money, time, or whatever, are still limited. I learned even bigger companies who unlimited resources, still limited. So your resources are limited. Use them wisely.
Lovely.
And you're going to be successful, right? You're going to fail, you're going to succeed. It's a part of the journey. This is how we all grow. And usually those are the teachers that we learn from them. We get baptized by fire. But growth and building a company is really fulfilling.
You just mentioned about resources being limited and still try to progress, still try to build around it.
Yeah.
Could you tell a story around that? Have you had worked in unlimited resources?
I worked in unlimited resources. I worked in larger hospitals a lot during my career. And to get something out of them, hospitals are great, but they always run on deficit. So they always overspend, like anybody in healthcare. So to get a procedure approved or to get a technology approved or even to get an ultrasound that will help us in doing procedure, it was so hard and so frustrating. Yet we never gave up, pushed hard. We did fundraising from the community after explaining that how much this machine will help us. Same with a smaller community I worked at, and we had to do a community fundraising. I had to go knock doors to buy the first MRI machine in there. That helped a lot of patients in the community. So no matter how big the organization, you still have limited resources. And most of them focus on short-term gain, not long-term.
Right.
How you really invest in the community by buying an ultrasound or an MRI. They would like to do fast gains because most they have boards and they have people to please and stakeholders and whatnot. And this journey helped me a lot during building the company, how we can be agile and move fast. Working with limited resources, on the other hand, that you don't have nothing and you have to do with it, was quite interesting. We had to make up stuff, right? When I started my own clinics, we had to buy not even an ultrasound machine, just a probe to be able to see where we're doing, right? At one point, I had a lot of chronic pain specialists, and during COVID, we couldn't buy syringes or needles. So we told each, you have an allocated number of syringes, allocated number of needles, even hand sanitizers, and what. We learned a lot during that process, how to really allocate resources for more serious patient, more patient in need, while the patient that can wait, we would ask them to wait a little bit until we get more.
Right. So basically, anytime that kind of resource allocation, if you are really good at it, it can really come handy in terms of being an entrepreneur. And it doesn't matter what kind of background or legacy you come from. You really have to face it at some point as an entrepreneur. So that's a lovely advice right there. And I'd like to thank you for your time over here today with us.
I really appreciate it. I really thank you, and thank you for kind words and for your time.
Thank you so much. We really enjoyed the conversation and so much of interesting aspects that we covered today. So yeah, thank you.